You're not supposed to tell us anything.
Oh.
Just do it.
Oh.
There you go. All right.
I thought we
No,
all
we
did
already-
it.
No.
No, just you.
I'm pretty sure every time we've done that, I've said, just one of us do that.
Me and Trevor did the first one.
And I told you,
I just like
just
being a part
one
of, the team.
of you do it. This is the bit from the Gus and Eddie podcast where at the beginning they can't decide when they're going to crack their cans open. And he's like, okay, on the count of 3, we're going to crack.
We
1,
go.
and then Gus pulls. He's like, oh, I thought you started at 3. This isn't the Gus and Eddie podcast. This is the Nosebleeds Podcast. Hello. Welcome back to us.
To me.
It's episode 44, the last one.
It's our space area.
When was the last time we did one of these?
Like, more than 2 weeks ago.
Too long ago.
Before, it's almost been an entire month.
August sucks, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of good, but not for recording podcasts.
Not for hockey. It's terrible.
Not for hockey
Not
podcasts.
for news, not for hockey.
If you've been waiting patiently for this, thank you.
We
Appreciate it.
you.
We'll be way more regular with this as the season starts and as there's stuff to talk about. Training camp, what's today, the 26th?
Indeed.
Training camp starts like the middle of September.
Couple weeks.
Dank memes.
The rookie camp.
I was going to just say, there's all rookie tournaments
Some
coming
people
up.
play rookie tournaments in the beginning of September. Very anti-rookie camp.
Sure.
But
Traverse City's coming up.
I'll watch it because it's hockey.
You may notice.
No.
We have a baseball game on. We're glaring at it every once in a while.
If you're watching us, you may notice that we broke out jerseys. Me and Ian did.
I didn't get the memo.
Trevor didn't.
Nobody
It was a
sent me the
last-minute thing
memo.
The hockey
because
podcast,
It
right?
was today. It was the first day that was like below 70 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so nice out
It
today.
was
Beautiful.
so nice.
And hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah.
So even though things have been kind of shit for news, we did have something that was kind of I think we woke up to it at some point early last week. Evgeny Kuznetsov tests positive for cocaine and is
Whoops.
banned from the IIHF for 4 years.
So you're telling me the cocaine that was on the table that he explicitly said was not his
Went immediately up his
was
nose.
actually his cocaine?
Well, here's what he actually said. He said, "That's not my cocaine. I already did all my cocaine."
I'm spoken for.
I'm
Thank you.
tapped out. So I mean that he's banned from IIHF events for the next 4 years. That's essentially the World Championships, and it will also ban him from any Olympic participation.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal if the NHL ever goes back. He's gonna miss he's gonna miss a bunch of Olympics in a row. Now, he cannot be suspended from the National Hockey League for use of cocaine.
Because it's not
It violates a suspension for using a drug that's not on the banned substances list or the performance enhancing list. Violates the collective bargaining agreement. You can't do that.
And the NHL has a policy in place wherein if you do use a drug that is harmful and addictive, such as cocaine or heroin or whatever. If you are caught using a substance that does some harm to your body, you get put in through a rehabilitation program instead of actually getting banned from the sport.
Right.
Which, wow, did the NHL do a nice thing? A good thing?
It's definitely a better policy than the IIHF has.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but this is where my issue with it is, with him not getting in trouble. He lied to the National Hockey League.
Lying isn't a punishable offense.
Is it not? Why wouldn't
In
it
the
be?
league?
Why can't the league say, you told us that you didn't do that, you made us look stupid, now you're suspended for that?
You can do that with anything. And you could be like, oh, well, he lied about what time he was coming out of the locker room today.
I don't know if, well, no, it's not anywhere near the same thing. I don't think he will get suspended for that, but,
No.
I mean, the league has to be thinking,
It doesn't look good.
it looks terrible for them.
Luckily, it's during the summer.
When does that...
But it was the
here's
only thing that happened last week, you know?
Sure.
It happened close enough to the preseason and, the season starting. When is he supposed to when is he supposed to do this like rehab program? Is it?
Oh, they don't care about that.
Effective now?
They haven't. So the NHL has to launch another investigation into this.
In order to get him into the.
Correct.
And they might not. That might not be.
Because the
even
first
public.
time they determined he didn't do anything because he swore up and down, I didn't do it, and they can't. I don't think they're allowed to test. They're allowed to reactively test like that. I don't think they're allowed to go. Okay, well then do a drug test. I don't think they're allowed to do that.
And teams aren't even allowed to be like, oh, so I know you have used, so we're going to test you frequently. Teams aren't allowed to test.
Teams don't test. The league does. A random guy shows up and says you've been randomly selected. It happens in the NFL all the time. Yeah, you know, with certain players in the NFL have had situations where, you know, they protested during the national anthem, and every week there was a guy at their you've been randomly selected. Why are you trying to make sure I can't play? You know, like there's a lot of fishy shit with that.
I know, like the UFC is really strict. Like they'll just show up at your house in the morning at like 6 a.m. or something.
Yeah,
and be like, and they do like a lot of testing.
And you gotta like pee in front of a dude. Like you can't just go into your bathroom.
Because like. Yeah.
Well, in some cases, where if you are not a repeat offender, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to, you know, go to the bathroom. You have some level of privacy there.
Yeah.
I don't know. The whole thing's weird. I hope for Evgeny Kuznetsov's sake that this gets resolved quickly. I hope it's not
something that follows him. You mean?
Yeah, I hope it's not a real issue for him as far as like dealing with this on a regular basis. However, I do think we're going to have a day of reckoning where we have to face the fact that Evgeny Kuznetsov is not the only player in the NHL doing cocaine.
You're telling me that
it was
rich
Jasper,
white
the guy that
got caught.
Is doing cocaine?
It was Jasper's Rink, which I believe is their SB Nation affiliate for the Capitals. He said, yes, now that Evgeny Kuznetsov's caught, there are no other players in the National Hockey League using cocaine.
America, we got him.
Yeah, we got him.
We got him.
I hope that there's more education about this.
Yeah.
And speaking of education about drug usage, and I don't know the full story, and maybe I should pull it up. Did you hear about Major League Baseball had to send a memo to its players? Where's my phone? That they were using bad penis pills, like from gas stations. Let me see if I can find this quickly.
No.
I mean, it's a far funnier problem.
No.
Okay, well, Major League Baseball penis pills.
I think it had like some substance
Take that,
in it.
Search engine optimization.
It had like something in the pills that you're not supposed to be taking.
Yeah, MLB warns players that sexual enhancement pills might contain PEDs.
I imagine something to do with like blood thinners or something, like moving blood better, or like more oxygen or something.
They don't work.
They recommended that players who suffer from erectile dysfunction or other legitimate issues related to sexual performance speak to a licensed physician about the various prescription medications.
Don't talk to the fucking
That's
guy
hilarious.
at the counter.
Yeah, don't go to Cumbies and say my wee don't work.
Hey Steve, my wee don't work.
And then while he's digging it out, go get 2 Mountain Dews for $1. You know, you're in a bad place.
Oh, but the Hyperfreeze though.
Yes.
Pull up with a fucking cotton candy Hyperfreeze, slam it on the counter, and go, I'll take 2 of those penis pills, sir. Thank you.
Please.
So yeah, I mean that's all I have on Kuznetsov. I hope that other players get to a better place and they don't do cocaine anymore. Cocaine's bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Drugs are bad.
I imagine the IIHF is a lot stricter than the NHL is in terms of testing.
Absolutely.
Don't know if the NHL keeps samples.
Not even IIHF, but international hockey in general, at the Olympics.
Crazy, yeah.
Remember a few years ago, Nicholas Backstrom tested positive for something and wasn't allowed to play in the gold medal game for Sweden.
I know, it's crazy.
I believe he took
Zyrtec?
Yeah, it was Zyrtec. It was Zyrtec. That's an antihistamine. I take it every day. I can tell you, I have received no performance enhancement.
if anything, the opposite.
Yeah. It makes my nose stop running. They wouldn't give him a silver medal for a while. He had to appeal and say, I have allergies. Like,
Please.
I have asthma.
but I think you need that. I think you need that sort of thing because you don't want any sort of part of your game being tainted by the idea that some people might be using
100%.
drugs. I mean, we're watching a baseball game right now. There might as well be an asterisk at the Hall of Fame saying, "Look, we don't know who used drugs and who didn't because so many people got away with it for so long."
I know. I think now at least I think it's a lot harder to use and get away with it.
Well, the penalties are so strict.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's your first time getting caught, you lose half a season. Second time you get caught, full season. Third time, complete ban. You're done.
The thing that's funny, from what I know at least, not that I have any experience, but I don't think cocaine stays in your system very long.
I have no idea.
At least, like, from
That's
what I
way
know, I
above
think
my
it's like,
head.
I think it's only like,
My Google search is gonna be
Yeah.
tainted.
I
just
think it's
typed
only
in
like
MLB
2 days.
penis pills. You can live with that.
How long does cocaine stay
Like,
in your
for,
system?
versus, like, I think marijuana is like a month you can be tested for. Or
I think it's
more.
90 days.
Yeah, like, or
Yeah, I
more.
think it's even longer than that.
And if I remember correctly, cocaine's like very short, like 2 days.
Ooh. Okay.
What are your
17 years.
Cocaine or its metabolites typically can show up in a blood or saliva test for up to 2 days. I'm assuming they don't do a blood or saliva test.
No, they probably do urine tests.
They might do.
Urine
they
test
might
for
do.
up to 3 days, and a hair test from months to years.
Yeah.
That
Hair
means
I think hair tests are the most
that when Kuznetsov was tested, he did
within
cocaine within 3 days of being tested.
Which I don't know when the tests
I-
were,
you
but I'm
know,
imagining around the competition time.
Oh, absolutely.
But I guess you're in the Olympic camp. I mean, I'm assuming that I don't know how far back the test went. Was it from when was the test from the last
From the IIHF World Championships.
Okay, so when was that? Like not.
End of the season. End of our NHL season.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was farther back.
May 26th.
Okay.
But it takes a while because they have to vet the response. They have to let the player know the player has the chance to appeal. I think he had the chance to appeal immediately back then, but who knows?
I remember reading a story about it was like someone in like England that was like in a I think maybe he worked on like a bus or something. Either way, he was like handling a lot of money. And they did like a saliva test, and he tested positive for cocaine. It was from all the money he was touching. And then they like did a hair test, and he was cleared. But he was like in a lawsuit because he was like wrongly terminated.
Oh wow,
It was kind of interesting.
that is interesting. All right, I think that's all we have to do about cocaine and
Sure.
Kuznetsov.
That's all the cocaine we have to
Yeah,
do today.
that's the end of the line for
The
that.
Wild hired their new general manager, Bill Guerin. He has 2 Stanley Cups as a player and 2 more as a front office employee with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He was the assistant general manager. Does that mean anything to anybody?
I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I didn't
You know Bill? I mean, I knew who Bill Guerin was.
I didn't know who he was.
I think
I think it's good. I think it was a good choice versus some of the other choices
yeah,
that were on the table.
Peter Shirelli.
Yeah, exactly.
You were picking between Bill Guerin and Shit Sandwich, and you went with Bill Guerin. And everyone, excellent choice, sir. A man of taste.
Peter Shirelli going to get hired.
Yes, he will. He's not done in the NHL. 100%.
Oh god.
We've seen this
I
before.
can't wait.
Someone's getting served shit sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Peter Shirley would have been a great fit in Minnesota, though. People would have been talking about Minnesota at least. I mean, it would have been bad,
Yeah,
but at least people were talking about them.
that's fair. They kind of have that sort of identity problem.
I would
no one
rather Minnesota
talks
be
about that.
bad than where they are now.
I mean, they are bad.
Which is like
Yeah, but they're not
But, like,
that bad.
Yeah.
I want them to be
obscure
bad.
bad. Like,
Peter
not-
Shirley holding beer.
They're not like Ottawa bad.
Yeah, we
Oh,
need them
man.
to be bad.
They signed Colin White to a 6-year deal, and my first thought was Colin White has played like 10 NHL games, but I guess he's played more than that. And then I was like, maybe I should watch more Senator. Before I could finish that thought, I threw up.
Yeah.
So
Right, yeah.
that's as far as I want to go into that signing.
Yeah.
Derek Brassard in New York
In the
with
Islanders.
the Islanders. Now
Not
he's
bad.
played for both New York teams.
Yeah, I mean, it was like 1.2, I think it was. How long was I have
The third New York team.
The New York Sabres,
They're in New York.
they're Buffalo.
Buffalo.
It's not the same thing.
Would you call Tampa Bay a Florida team?
In the sense that there's only one hockey team that plays in Florida. Yes, the Panthers exist. There's one hockey team that plays in Florida.
My brother Luongo is crying.
Yep.
Where he is right now.
Yep.
I don't know.
in Montreal, where he lives now. No, I think he's gonna stay in Florida.
Anyway.
It's
I
a whatever.
I
deal.
like this for the Islanders.
I mean, he's no Panarin, but like,
No, it's a nice little runner-up prize for him, though. No, I think it'll be a good.
we got Pickle. Yeah,
Got
he's
him.
out. He's out.
I think it'll be good for him. He's got to reset his career.
Mhm.
He's not done by any stretch of the imagination.
No, he's still young-ish.
Yeah, I think he needed to reset. He can do that in New York. They have decent depth at forward. You know, provide some secondary scoring for them. Maybe play the penalty kill. Maybe the power play.
He's a smart guy. So.
Yeah, I like Derek Brassard. I think he's a good hockey player.
Samesies. He's no Mika Zibanejad.
Naturally.
That's a new saying.
Staying in the Metropolitan Division, the Carolina Hurricanes released a new away jersey.
I don't really like it.
Yeah, so I watched the video, and maybe it was just the hype of the video, because it was a well-done video.
It was.
I was like, dang, that's sharp. I like that jersey.
That's sharp.
The one thing I like about it the most is the helmet and the logo they use on the helmet and how it's raised off of the helmet.
That's pretty cool.
Major League Baseball started doing that a few years ago, where the logos on their batting helmets are raised. And it's probably like the same sort of rubbery plastic material that they're going to use. But that logo was so much cooler.
It's like, it had like a black center instead of the white.
Just use that.
It was pretty cool.
That would have been amazing.
It'll be, I don't know how I feel about them like going full Canes.
It has never worked for any other team that's done that.
I know.
Where they do the diagonal with the
Like the
4 or 5 letters across.
No.
Canes, Sens, Bolts. All these teams tried it.
I hated the Bolts one. I hated
I feel like I'm forgetting one.
The Rangers but they've had that jersey for...
Yeah, and they tweeted at the Hurricanes
history.
just like the question, and the Hurricanes responded. They said,
It's like a pleasure to get a tweet from the original
yeah, from
diagonal.
the creator of Horizontal. Or Diagonal, yeah.
God.
It's not awful.
No, it's not. It looks good,
think-
except I don't love the logo, but we'll see.
I think the worst alternate I've seen in recent.
Well, this isn't their
History?
alternate.
Let's
This
see.
is their road jersey forever. They're keeping the black alternate. They're not getting rid of that.
I love that one.
It's nice.
I really love that one.
It's grown on me. I used to hate it.
I just like the hurricane flag. I think it's like a really unique
Yeah.
logo.
I don't like the double flag one. I like the original one, but that's just me. Not a big deal.
I think the worst recent redesign or whatever, I think it's a third,
Yeah.
is the Islanders just NY
On the black.
black.
Yeah.
It is so bland.
It's weird.
It
They
is
did that
so
They did that
bland.
when they moved to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I don't think they've worn. Yeah, Adidas didn't make the new ones. They have an alternate with Adidas now, I think.
Bring back the fisherman.
I know. That's all we
Bring him
want.
back.
I want a Canadians third. Not this. This isn't good. But
Really?
it's fine. I wouldn't like it as a third jersey.
I like the
I
red and
like
green.
it.
Bring the barber pole back full time. Make it happen. Jeff, I know you're listening to this. And I know you can see all of our tweets where we ask you for a third jersey. I know when you do the Ask the Boss segment and we ask you, can we have a third jersey? And you ignore us to answer
jersey.
some question about French fries. Jeff, we just want a third jersey.
Jeff, make it blue.
It's not. Yeah, blue. I have the blue one.
Blue,
I'll give
please.
it to you. Just make it.
Make more of
It's
them.
not here. It's in the closet behind the camera. It's behind you, Jeff.
I mean, if you want
Okay.
it, Jeff, it's behind you.
So the team's gonna wear the blue jerseys but you have to buy them all for all the players.
Oh no. No, thank you.
You ever had to put your whole salary into one purchase?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I don't know.
Did we talk about not to switch topics, but Kevin Shattenkirk? Did we talk about him signing?
He's
that
in
last
Tampa.
I think we talked
Tampa's
about
getting all the bargain signings with
Pat Maroon
Pat
also
Maroon
going
joining.
there. I love Pat Maroon.
I do too, and I don't understand why he can't find a long-term contract somewhere.
Why did he not stay in St. Louis?
Maybe he was asking. That's the thing, is I'm thinking maybe he was asking too much. He's taking a pay cut to go to Tampa.
I know.
He's
unless
making
he
less than $1 million. He was a huge part of their playoff team, of that win.
Like, at this point, I don't think his ideology is like, oh, I want to win. Like, bruh, you just won.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you want to still win, but like I don't think you're no longer signing a deal specifically to go and win.
But again, I think the teams that would have paid him a large ticket,
we're not going to win.
Right. It was going to be in Edmonton. It was going to be, I can't even think of Ottawa. Ottawa probably would have paid him. Someone's got to make money there. You know, it would be a team that's not going to win right away. Sure, I don't know how you can go from winning a Stanley Cup to, okay, now I'm making my money, but I need, you know, I'm wasting the rest of my career.
For sure.
I kind of feel bad for Pat Maroon because after, I guess it was the year he was in Edmonton and got traded at the deadline to somebody. We were like, okay, he's going to make his money. He's going to, you know, sign a big deal. And then I think he was in New Jersey and he had a great season. And they're like, okay, now he's going to sign his big deal. And then he signs a 1 year, $1 million deal in St. Louis, wins the cup, has a great postseason. I mean, what did he have? 10 goals. I think 10 goals, 28 points in his regular season, and then in the Stanley Cup playoffs, he was impressive.
Yeah, he was definitely like kind of like someone the team rallied around. I'd say.
Yeah, they all love him.
Good story.
He's from St. Louis, I think.
Yeah,
his kid's there, like, and then he wins that, and it's like, all right, now he's got to cash in on these chips.
Yeah,
and he just, what's the deal? Like, why can't this guy get paid?
I know.
I wonder if teams are like, oh, maybe he'll be the next Lucic. Don't pay him like Lucic.
No, just like a 2-year...
Three years, $2 million per.
Simple.
Pat Maroon says, done. Say less. Sign it. You know? Like, it's over.
$2 million?
I don't understand how this guy can't seem to...
Yeah, that sucks.
...get that long-term deal. Which is too bad, because I like Pat Maroon. And if the money was right for the Canadians, I would have liked him on that team. Some size in front of the net on the power play.
We need some veteran presence on the Rangers.
Naturally.
Who doesn't?
But also Tampa Bay is definitely at the point of contending for a Stanley Cup where they're just making up the rules. They're Chicago Blackhawking it.
Yeah. They still have to sign Point, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
I don't know what's going to happen there. I wonder if it's going to be a bridge deal. I wonder...
They still have, like, a lot of cap space. But even with the Kevin Shattenkirk thing, when I was looking at it, I'm like, this team either is forcing pressure on Point to take a lesser number, or they're just, like, really comfortable with whatever number they're at. Because I don't understand that. Imagine if your Point in, like, say Tampa was at $10 million, and then you're asking for, like, say 10 or 11, which you know the team already doesn't have. But then they go out and sign Kevin Shattenkirk, and then...
How much is Shattenkirk making?
1.6. But I mean...
What?
I think it's.
Did they really give him over 1.5 million for him is already too much, and they went over that.
Maybe I'm just making that number. I might just be making that number up, but I'll pull up his cap friendly.
Yeah, please. That was that
1920 1.75.
They gave him more than that. The number that you said that I already thought was too high. They went front hand, and they went higher than that.
No, 1.6 I think was what like the Rangers penalty is going to be or something.
Okay.
Like that. But yeah, no trade clause also. But yeah, so like imagine your Point asking for like what the team has left in cap, and then they go and spend like nearly $2 million of that.
And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. Nice and like
they've got to have another move up their sleeve. Tampa always seems to.
I know. So either they're like applying pressure on Point, or they're just I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They're at a point in their window, like I said, where the rules just don't apply, and we're gonna have to get used to that. Like that's just Tampa acquired half the Pittsburgh Penguins and they gave up a fourth. It's like, well, those are the rules now, guys. Sorry.
You know.
Sorry.
24...
No, actually, it would be the Rangers. They just finish it. They just get the rest of the Rangers.
24-year-old Wayne Gretzky signs in Tampa Bay. It's like, wait, what?
Wait. Now they're bending time.
Yes.
Damn it, guys.
They went back in time and convinced Ken Griffey Jr. to play hockey, and now he is their starting center.
What?
Vlad Guerrero Jr. also on the Lightning.
They got the walrus from the Geico commercial.
Oh my god.
It's a walrus.
Way to go, Duncan.
Limo Emo?
No
what
sleepies.
What are you doing here?
No sleepies.
Limo
Now,
Emo.
I reached out for questions from our listeners and now viewers, and one question I got from our cousin Dolores, my cousin Dolores, not you guys, we're not related.
What?
No.
I feel like we
was
know
about these NHL Network lists. Excuse me, why it's my nose. It's so disrespectful. They released their top. It's for defensemen and forwards. It's top 20, and for goalies, it's top 10. Now, I want to preface this by saying I think these lists from the beginning
Are awful.
are just a way to drum up noise in August for hockey
When there's
and-
and
for the NHL Network
geez,
when
my
they're
bad.
not playing anything on TV.
Yeah.
That's always been the purpose of these.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we know that they're going to be intentionally inflammatory. They're going to make people go, hey, he doesn't deserve to be there. This guy deserves... And then someone responds, no, this guy? No, I'm thinking this
But they
guy.
also-
Like, that's all it is.
They also definitely do pander.
Oh, absolutely. So the guys who tend to either...
Jonathan Taves.
Right, the guys who tend to jump up and down the most tend to be in larger markets.
Yeah.
So that, it's a Maple Leaf.
That's why Henrik Lundqvist didn't make the top 10.
Right. I mean, other than the fact that he's not good. But
What?
Tell me why,
Man.
So let's-
Jordan Binnington made the top 10.
Dude, I don't know.
Please.
My
Please
problem
fucking tell me.
is what's their criteria? It must just be this
there is
past
none.
season.
There is none.
No, they don't tell
Stop.
you.
Stop. There is none.
It's just like top 10 of all. Wait, what do you mean?
Trevor. Best.
No, they were
That's
just,
it.
No, they were just like in a room and they're like, "Can you name 10 goalies?"
Just throwing darts.
Yeah.
They're just throwing darts.
So let's start with the defenseman. How do we do this?
We could just look at some of the
should we
funny
do
ones if you want.
deserved or not deserved?
I'm gonna start. Should I start at the bottom and work up?
Yes.
Do you think that's
From
the best?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
We're gonna go fast because we're
Well,
going through.
Maybe we can go like high or low.
We're going through 50 players here because it's 20
Jesus.
defensemen, 20 forwards, 10 goalies.
You wanted content, we brought it.
Dude, it's brought. It's August.
Here.
I'm starting to sweat. Number 20, Zach Werenski. It's probably fine.
Yeah.
Probably
He
fine.
makes the list.
He's the second best defenseman on his own team behind Seth Jones. But
Is
that
Seth
shouldn't
Jones
matter.
On the list?
Seth Jones is on the list.
Is he?
Good.
Yeah.
And you would know now that he's higher than him. So that makes sense. That
Yeah.
checks out so far.
Right.
We're off to a great start.
Yeah.
Number 19, Colton Parayko of the St. Louis Blues.
Probably not for me.
I think he's up
This
there.
is all time.
No, just
No.
this season.
Oh,
I think it's
okay.
just this
They-
See,
past-
I went into this
okay.
thinking all time,
So
No.
which
no.
then
No.
makes me go like, "Who the fuck are these
and
people?"
you let Zach Werenski slide. You were like, let's hear this next name.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Hold on. A Columbus Blue Jacket is one of the best players of all time.
All time.
Let's hear this one out.
First, you had my interest.
Here's the thing, and I was gonna express this. No matter where you start,
So funny.
if you start at the bottom, like, it's like, okay, well, I have to see who's above that person to see if it's justified.
Sure.
You know?
Okay, so let's keep going.
Okay.
So 19 was Colton Parayko.
The whole
He was
time.
pretty good. He's our top right-handed defenseman. Like, you need those. This is where the list gets a little hairy for me. Number 18, Ryan Suter.
No.
And I went and looked it up, and he's still producing points. Like, he had like 53 points last year or something like that. They're mostly assists. I think he had 9 goals.
He's on Wilds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact you had to
I don't
ask
know.
maybe doesn't put him on this list.
Number 17, Miro Heiskanen. I feel like that's way too soon for him to be on this list. He was just a rookie last season.
He's good, but yeah.
16, Torrey Krug. I used to think that Torrey Krug wasn't a very good defenseman. I now know that he is, in fact, a very good defenseman.
Yeah, he makes the list, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if I put him that high.
Number 15, Jacob Trouba. So congrats, Trevor.
Yeah, I know. He
You're
should
like,
be
what?
way
He should be
higher.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
Where's the bit? Here it is.
Yeah.
Number 14, another Bruin, Charlie McAvoy. That's probably right. Charlie McAvoy's really good.
Yeah.
Also, but you have like the greatest defensive forward of all time.
That's
on
true.
Your team, like
That's true.
You
Yeah,
gotta
but
think
it's
that pads.
defenseman.
Yeah,
Oh.
but you
Right,
gotta
but
think
he's
that
saying-
pads their stats a
okay.
bit.
Right.
Yes,
I mean,
I
maybe,
see
but
the
I mean,
logic.
these guys eat minutes. McAvoy,
Someone has to.
someone has to. They have to stay healthy. They've been
Yeah.
banged up all the time.
Yeah.
So that was 14. Number 13, PK Subban. I think he should be higher. I also know that he's been dealing with a lot of injuries, and Gord Miller was on radio in Montreal
saying something like, if you're looking for the PK
Right.
from Montreal, you're not going to find it.
Right, and that's in the sense that he's had serious injuries since he left the Canadiens. He left the Canadiens on a stretcher.
Yeah.
His last moment as a Hab was on a stretcher after slamming into Alexei Emelin's ass. He's had serious back problems. I mean, I don't doubt that. I think with him being the guy in Jersey next year, his points probably jump up. His play probably... He becomes a much more high-profile player again.
Yeah.
Sure.
Number 12, John Klingberg. It's probably fine.
I think he deserves to be on the list.
Yeah.
For sure.
11, Alex Pietrangelo. Again, this seems
Not
reasonable.
too bad.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Number 10, Chris Letang. I like Chris Letang
Yeah.
a lot.
I know. What have you done for me lately, though? It's like
Whoa.
Chris Tang.
I thought he had a decent season last year.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I would have to look at his stats.
I mean, he's going to be the only one playing defense in Pittsburgh next year, so good luck, Chris.
I know, that's the
R.I.P.
problem.
Chris. Tap F to pay respects for Chris. We're in the top 10, so that was 10. Number 9, Drew Doughty.
Yeah,
Boo.
he
No.
makes the list.
Not that high. Not above PK Subban.
Can
I
I?
don't think.
I'm biased based on like how much money he gets, because that, to me, like,
And I will always think he's mediocre as
value.
shit.
I
So
probably put Charlie McAvoy over Drew Doughty.
I know.
That's my hot take of the day.
But like
I probably put McAvoy
I'm
higher
trying
than
to-
that.
I'm trying to think of it as like if I need to build a team to win like right now, like this, like
You're putting Drew Doughty on your team if you want to win right now?
like
Has
Drew-
LA won?
but like
They've
some of
won
these
2
other guys
cups
are
with
still
him.
really young.
Yeah, they've won
Right
since
now.
2014.
He's
Yeah, I
saying
know,
right
I know.
now.
He's still
I know.
good.
So much
Um,
has changed.
Number 8, Roman Yossi.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah.
Number 7, Morgan Riley. He had a great season
He did.
last season.
So
I don't
that's
know
why.
if he was a he should have
I think
probably finished. I think he finished second in Norris actually, or maybe it was
I think he's
fourth.
fourth.
Yeah, he finished outside of the top
Yep.
3. He should have. I mean, he deserves that.
Yeah, I think 7's fair.
he's another one where I'm like, he deserves to be on the list.
Here's one that I think is good, but maybe a tad overrated. John Carlson of the Washington Capitals. I think he's really good.
He is.
I think because he plays in Washington, it might be overhyped just a tad. Yeah.
After
Yeah.
this season, though?
I don't know. It's tough because we're doing
I mean,
this in
I would
August
say
and the
after-
season ended in
I
April.
would say
I
after
know.
last season, maybe it would be inflated, but after this season, I don't think so.
Really?
I don't know.
Are you
Well,
thinking of
I like
Eric
John
Carlson?
No,
John Carlson.
John Carlson.
I don't think of him at all. Like that's what I'm saying. Like
No, that's what I'm saying, because, like, last season, they went to the Cup final.
yeah.
You would think
that's
that would
fair.
make it inflated, not
Yeah.
the season after.
Number 5, Seth Jones. I love me some Seth Jones. I don't know
Yeah.
if he's there yet. I think he's going to be a Norris guy for the rest of his career.
I'd put him below Drew Doughty.
Really? I don't think I would.
I just love.
I'm very low on Drew Doughty.
I know.
I'm not a big fan of his game.
I'm going to skip a last.
Number 4, Eric Carlson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems right.
That also
Maybe
seems like a
higher.
right placement to me.
Yeah, considering he's had like a career low where he is because of all the injuries and everything. But I mean, he could easily be one on this list next season,
Yeah.
I mean,
and we wouldn't even blink. We'd be like, oh yeah, that's right.
also,
What year is it? Oh, he's still playing?
he
Yeah.
went from... Eric Carlson was the most stellar on a team that wasn't stellar.
To Eric Carlson
To
being
Eric Carlson
part of a
being...
three-headed monster in San Jose.
Yeah. So, like,
Also, I
this
haven't-
the decline...
Notice I haven't said a certain name yet from San Jose. Number 3, Mark Giordano out of Calgary. I don't know if I have him up that high. He's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This would be a good exercise to make our own of these lists.
It'd be so hard.
But
Out of
there's
the list
only,
that they
but the
made.
thing is, I can't say Jeff Petrie for all 20 spots, so I'm not going to do it.
It's just like
He received a Norris vote, so how dare you laugh at him?
No, I'm not laughing at
I
him. I'm
know.
laughing at all the spots.
Number 2, Victor Hedman, which leaves Brent Burns as number 1.
Wow.
I'm kind of surprised Ryan McDonough didn't make the list. Like I think I'd put Ryan McDonough.
I think last year he's on that list. I don't think he is anymore.
I'm kind of surprised that Shea Weber didn't make the list.
Shea Weber was hurt all season. Shea Weber's healthy and he plays to the level that he played for the half the season this year, he's probably on this list.
Yeah.
I'd probably slot him in 15, 16 in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brett Burns is fair.
I don't know as number 1 though.
Brett Burns is a great hockey player who just happens to go under the label as defenseman.
I know, it's the kind of
Like, he doesn't play defense.
It depends on what you value.
Right.
Like, if you're just doing points, or like, how are you valuing your defenseman?
Right.
Do you want them to not like goals be scored on them, or do you want them to get goals?
You know how I value them? None of them are Jeff Petrie, so they're not good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think if you're looking at defensemen as like a comparative list, it shouldn't be, I don't know. It should be just like very cut and dry as like who does the best defending, not who is also really good at offense.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like
like
the Norris Trophy is just the trophy that is awarded to the most outstanding defenseman.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
I know, because
We've been sort of transitioning the meaning of the word defenseman, or at least what their role is,
yeah.
over the last. It's changed dramatically over the last 10 years.
Well, because like I feel like the trend is towards more offensive defensemen, but if all you're paying attention to, I feel like it's very easy to pay attention to offensive defensemen because like
Yeah, they get points.
they get points.
They show up on
They
the score
score
sheet.
goals. Like,
I think it's more than that, though. I think it's more of a shift in philosophy in that your defensemen are less like Drew Doughty, are less of the Shea Weber types that are, rugged, clearing the front of the net. They're more of the type of defenseman like Miro Heiskanen, who can, get out of the zone by passing the puck to get out of trouble, or use their wheels and skate the puck out of trouble.
Which I think is a lot more important.
Drew Doughty struggles with that. Like, he's not the most fleet of foot. He struggles getting out of the zone like that. Shea Weber struggles with that. As Subban's health stays an issue, he used to be that type of defenseman.
he used to go end to end, like it was no fucking issue.
Markov wasn't. Andre Markov for the Canadiens was never the fastest skater on the ice, but he was so good at passing the puck, it didn't matter. The days of a defenseman acceptably just punching the puck off the glass to clear the zone are over. As long as you don't play for, a dinosaur of a coach. They don't want them doing that anymore because you're giving up possession of the puck.
A generally not fast team.
Sure.
You
need to be quick. Oh, the Philly Fanatics throwing popcorn on people.
Did you hear this? They're thinking of getting rid of him?
They're not thinking of getting rid of him. So the creative entity that created the Philly Fanatic is saying that they own him as an intellectual property.
Yeah.
And their contract with the Phillies is up. So they're saying we own him, and the Phillies say he belongs to us now. It's not. So this will get played out in the courts.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Because he's the most.
He's one of the most iconic
mascots.
just ever.
The most sellable guy. Yeah. It would be a huge loss for the Phillies. Anyway.
They could just get Gritty.
Gritty
Gritty too.
would light the streets on fire.
Did you see Gritty throwing axes?
Yeah.
They've armed him.
Yeah.
He's been armed.
So I don't know if they did centers yet, but the next list I have is the top 20 wingers in the league.
Okay.
So we'll start at the bottom, number 20, and I was kind of surprised he even made this list because of how many people hate him. One Phil Kessel.
Okay.
You
He
can't
makes my list.
argue that he's
Yeah, I love
an elite player.
love me some Phil Kessel.
He's with Arizona now?
Yes.
And I feel like the reason why people don't like him is like this perceived attitude thing, not because of his skills.
Right, absolutely.
Some players also, like, I think he falls in the bracket of players that don't look like they're trying very hard. On
Yes.
Yeah, and they
players
don't
just skate.
Well, they
without
don't.
looking.
He doesn't fit this. I think we
idea.
talked about this. He's got a body like a bag of milk. Like
Yeah.
he's just he looks
He's
fat.
Babe Ruth.
And the problem is like he hasn't missed a game in forever.
Right.
So you can't say that his conditioning's bad, that he's in bad shape.
Right.
He's just not built the
And
same
he
way.
still delivers.
Yeah. Sometimes
Isn't
like,
it weird how bodies can do that though?
I think we've had this conversation before where I said, essentially, why isn't the thing facing us on the camera? I'm worried that it's not even on right now.
No, it is.
Unimportant.
Do you want me to get up and do it?
No, it's fine. That guys like Phil Kessel are probably built to withstand more NHL hits
Oh, yeah, we did talk
than a
about
guy
that.
like I'm trying to think of like a thin player.
I
Dylan Larkin.
feel like I use.
And that shows because of how thin Dylan Larkin is and how much time he spends hurt.
I think
like
last
I
time
used
you
the
said
phrase
Pedersen.
Cushion for the pushing.
You can say that. Yeah, or Pedersen. We've had the same worry
worry
about whether or not he's gonna make it through this league.
Yeah.
That's enough time on Phil Kessel. This could be a full Phil
That's
Kessel.
all they would focus.
Number 19, Patrick Laine. Still unsigned and apparently falling out of favor in Winnipeg. There's a belief that the leadership group in Winnipeg is a very controlling, not controlling, but a very influential group when it comes to decision making for the Jets, and that he's fallen out of favor with them. The likes of Blake Wheeler, the likes of Dustin Byfuglien, maybe Mark Scheifele, those kind of guys. So we might be seeing the end of him in Winnipeg.
Wow.
I still think he's kind of low on this list.
I was gonna say that too.
He had an off season. Like he scored goals in November, and that was essentially it. Then he had no game playoff. I think that they're really low on him because this is the list right now, as they keep telling us. So I mean, next year he could be in the top 5.
Yeah.
No question. Number 18, Gabe Landeskog.
Wow, that should be higher.
You think so? I can't help
Really
it.
like one of the best lines in hockey.
Yeah, but okay,
Yeah,
that's what I want to talk
You
about.
have 2 other people on the
Is it?
line.
Yeah.
And the other 2 people were Mikko Rantanen and Nate McKinnon.
Brandon's like still young though, right?
He had like 90 points.
I know, but like
It was very clear to me when I watched them that Landeskog, and he wasn't a passenger on that line. I'm not going to say he was just along for
It's not like
the free
rust.
but the other 2 were otherworldly. Like the other 2 guys on that line were in a class of their own.
Yeah, I mean you're still converting. You're still getting points. I don't know.
17, Matt Kachuk out of Calgary. He's really good. He's really good at making people upset, which is kind of neat. 16, Jonathan Huberdeau. I didn't realize this. He had 92 points last
He's
season.
really good.
He was really, really good.
Higher.
Yeah.
They could have put him way higher and pissed people off.
15, Taylor Hall. Makes sense.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's on the list. He could probably be higher.
Yeah, I agree.
Jersey had a bad year. 14, Vlad Tarasenko. I think that this is a right spot for him, but it's just funny to think, like, just not even that long ago, like, he was one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
I think the same thing about Stamkos still.
Yeah.
It was always Crosby, Ovechkin, Stamkos.
Yeah.
And then now, like, Stamkos is just, like, maybe in the top 10?
And he just had a career year. He just had the best season of his career. And I was talking about Kucherov
Yeah.
and Point. You know?
It's crazy. You used to be, like, the guy.
Do you think it's maybe because people are taking him for granted at this point?
I think now
He's
there's
just,
so many
he's not even the best player on his team anymore.
Yeah, now there's just so many good players. It's like,
Right.
Just on Tampa.
It would be interesting to see how, if someone did a study on like how points spread out in terms of like, I feel like you used to have like the guy on your team, and now you're
It's
a
all duos.
a
You
lot
need
more spread out.
Yeah, but you need multiple forms of primary offense now.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I mean, I also think that's just a symptom of like when you don't have that good of a team and you suck, and then you get that good draft pick, and then you kind of grow from that.
Yeah.
That's signs of like a team that's no longer like a young or like tanking team.
Yeah. Number 13, Mark Stone.
Okay.
The analytics community loves Mark Stone.
Yeah.
I get that because he's great on both sides of the puck. He drives possession. He's a primary scorer on a team in Vegas that now has several of them, which is scary. I think he should be way higher on this list. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Number 12, Claude Giroux. I feel like he should be much lower on this list.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. Like, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Drew has a baby as of today.
That's wonderful. So does Bryce Harper.
Wow.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's a big day in Philly for babies. Number 11, Blake Wheeler. So they have Blake Wheeler above Patrick Laine, which I think is interesting if you're just looking at last season. That makes a lot of sense. But I think overall,
That's
the
rough.
trajectory for Wheeler's probably a little bit lower at this point just because he's on the downswing of his career.
But again, it's the same kind of thing. Like, if you're Game 7 Stanley Cup final, who would you rather have, Wheeler or?
I want Line.
Still,
yes, I want Line.
I feel like Line.
Because you take the chance that he can light him up for 4 goals.
I know, but it's still like it's kind of
Wheeler's the more complete player.
Yeah.
Because Line is very much a one-trick pony right now in his career. I was just listening to the Hockey News podcast. Line is the same age now as Ovechkin was when he was leaving his rookie season.
Oh, wow.
And Line already played 3 years in this league. He already has, I think it was before Ovechkin even started. So he scored 80 goals already in his career.
Before Ovechkin started playing.
By their ages,
yeah. That's really interesting.
So it's like, he's still so young, so raw as a player. Like, you have to wait on him. If Winnipeg moves on from him, whoever gets him is going to be just over the moon about it. You better hope you get everything for him.
Now, if you're like 24, 23, it's like you're done.
Yeah.
It's like that's,
He's
24 or peaking basically then.
He ended his season as a 20-year-old. You know, like, he's got so much time left to figure this out in this league. I hate to keep going back to Line, but him coming in at 19 is really rough.
Yeah.
Number 10, David Pastrnak.
Okay. I think he could be higher.
It's fine. Number 9, Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
So he's already higher than Landeskog. Number 8, Artemi Panarin.
Sick.
It's good for you. Number 7, Johnny Gaudreau. He had a good year.
Did they not have Marchand? Or is he higher?
He's coming up.
Okay, good. I thought I'm like counting down. Like I didn't know they would put him that high. Okay, not to jump ahead.
But that's a good point. You didn't think he would be that high.
Yeah, I did. That's why I'm like, once we start getting into some of these names, I'm like, wait.
So number 7 is Gaudreau.
I think he could have been lower. I love him, but
there were points in the season where people were saying Hart Trophy. Like, he could have won the league MVP.
If you had somebody,
he's great.
If you had like a Nate McKinnon to put him with, forget
Look
about
at
it.
Sean Monahan. Sean Monahan's a really good hockey player.
Yeah, Sean Monahan's not.
Number 6, Leon Draisaitl.
There's a beat.
Oh, great.
I don't think it's
Can you
blinking
get you
anymore.
good?
What?
you
Wait,
just
what was
did
last name?
this. You just wobbled back and forth.
Okay, Dad.
Low.
What's low?
Battery.
No.
What was last name?
Draisaitl.
Okay.
It's funny that they put him as a wing. He did play. What?
Memory card is full.
Memory card.
How is it full? We haven't even gone for an hour yet.
Yeah, he played. I always
Which
pictured
card
him as
did
a
you
center.
put in there?
The one that we always use.
Was it empty?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess that's where the video ends this week.
I'm changing mag.
Changing mag.
Make
Yeah,
sure you
I
line the
always
camera
pictured
right.
Draisaitl as a center, but
Well, that's where he ought to be.
for sure. Do you want to clap?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he should be centering his own line. The
100%.
problem is you're paying him $8 million. He's going to center the second line. It's kind of silly. So kind of a waste of money, especially if you've got Nugent Hopkins centering the third line, making whatever he's making.
Got built down the middle though, Ian.
Number 5, Mitch Marner. They have Mitch Marner as the 5th highest ranked winger in the National Hockey League.
No. Same thing. Like if you, I just think like if you need somebody to go up against like the Stanley Cup Finals, like.
These are wingers.
Oh.
Yeah, they're not centers. That's what I said. I'm like, I don't think they've done the center list yet, so we'll have to redo this.
Marner's too high.
Yeah, I think this is what I was talking about when I was saying they're gonna put some higher up on this list that don't belong there
Just to create hype.
just to create noise.
Well, and it's pretty topical.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah.
he's the most twittered name all summer,
Twitter.
without question. Number 4, Brad Marchand. So they have
That's.
Brad Marchand is the 4th highest winger in the league.
I don't know.
I used to think that, and a lot of other people did too, that that his success was just all Bergeron. Marchand was just a passenger. That's just not the case.
No.
Marchand's a really, really good hockey player, as much as it pains me to say. I don't know. I'd probably put Gaudreau above him.
There's a couple people on that list I would
I'd
want
probably
over
put Panarin
Marchand.
above him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it as far as other than the 3 names that are ahead of him still. So maybe I have him 6 or 7, but still, he's a very good hockey player.
I think that's more accurate than 4.
Yeah. Number 3, Alex Ovechkin.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta.
There was a time when he was 1 and it was unquestionable that anybody else would be there.
I can't wait I should already know 2 and 1, but I'm not really thinking, so.
Number 2 is Patrick Kane.
I'd rather have Ovi.
Yeah, I think I would too. Just because you can't put a premium on... It's goal scoring. Like,
For sure.
as much as Patrick Kane's a great playmaker, like...
I think...
He needs other guys to put the puck in the net.
For sure. Which, I mean, if you're... Crosby has transitioned more into scoring, but, like, Crosby, you can put a rock on Crosby's line, and it'll score.
Yeah.
So.
I think Patrick Kane is one of the overrated players.
Yeah, I think so.
In the league. Like, overall.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's American, and they want to pump his tires on the American network.
It's Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago. But, I mean, who would
the Cups help.
I don't think I would put him... I think he would only move down 1 spot.
He'd still stay in the top 5, probably.
Top 3. He just moves down to 3. I think I have Ovechkin above him.
I feel like I should just abstain from
That's
putting
fine.
him on the list at all.
And then number 1 is Nikita Kucherov because duh.
Yeah.
Like that's unquestionable.
I think some of these guys have... It's interesting, I think, where certain players I'm trying to think of how to word this, but, like, international hockey tournaments can change your view of a player. Like, I think that year Marchand was with Crosby. Was that World Cup?
World Cup.
Yeah.
And he was the most dominant player in the tournament.
Yes, and I think something like that can really change your view of a player where now they're outside, they're playing a different role.
Yeah.
Right? I think Marchand's role really changed in that tournament.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden you're like, wow, he's filthy.
I think he was still really good before that. We just
you don't realize it.
But then the thing is he goes to he goes to that World Cup tournament and now it's he was only good because he was playing with Bergeron now he was only good because he was playing with Crosby.
Sure.
Like, it's something that like I'm sure it doesn't bother him what people say. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that would give a shit.
No.
But that's going to surround him his entire career as long as he's playing with Bergeron, as long as Bergeron's still the guy driving that line.
Yeah.
Which
it's
a great spot for fucking Brad Marchand. Like, he doesn't care.
He's
making millions of dollars.
Yeah, still getting the puck in the net.
A Stanley Cup champion. He's a Stanley Cup competitor every year. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't think that
puts the rings on the fingers.
Yeah, it's not gonna bother him at all.
I just came up with that saying. I think.
All
it's
right,
pretty
goalies,
good.
quick. 10 goalies. So the top third of the league, essentially.
Okay.
Number 10, John Gibson out of Anaheim.
I don't know. It's gonna be hard because a lot of these guys, I feel like I'm gonna say
He could have easily won the Vezina last year. Like, that's how good he was and how shit Anaheim was.
Yeah. I think that's what clouds my
that team torpedoed what was a great season by a goaltender.
Yeah.
Number 9, Pekka Rinne, still doing it. He's like,
I think that's low for Pekka Rinne.
Yeah.
Maybe I have 2013 goggles on, but
yeah, I don't know. Number 8 is Jordan Binnington. I feel like he's a fine goalie. I think we might be seeing Cam Ward 2.0. Rookie comes in, wins the cup, and then is average for the rest of his career.
Yep.
Although if he becomes average, he'd be better than Cam Ward.
I'd probably move him down a little bit, but yeah. I mean, if you're just looking at last season, fine.
Gibson's better than him.
I wouldn't put him on the list.
Yeah. Number 7, Braden Holtby.
Yeah.
Wow. I probably would have had him higher.
Probably would have had him higher. Marc-Andre Fleury.
Higher, probably. A little bit.
He's at 6.
I'd put him at least top 5, I think. I don't know. Maybe 5.
Well, you don't know who's in the top 5 yet.
I just know Henrik Lundqvist didn't make this list.
That's the thing with these rankings, right? Is a lot of the time we look at it and go, well, he has to be in this number. Well, what if there were 1 plus that number more goaltenders better than him?
Yeah.
So, number 5, Tuukka Rask.
Yeah.
Tuukka Rask had a phenomenal
really
season.
Yeah, he had a great playoff.
Number 4, Carey Price.
Carey Price.
Considering, the way Carey Price started last season and how much better we know he can be, that's a low ranking for him.
He should be number 1.
I'm legitimately surprised, given that Tuukka Rask murdered it in the playoffs, that he's lower than Carey Price.
Yeah, that's
I'm
surprising.
surprised.
Come to think of it,
I mean,
as much as we love Carey Price, like that, it makes sense.
One of them made the playoffs and one of them didn't.
Well, it's not on the goalie to make the playoffs.
But one of them fucking killed it in the playoffs.
Tuukka Rask had a backup that could stop a puck.
Yeah.
Tuukka Rask had Jarl Halak for the entire year.
True.
Carey Price, they completely lost faith in Antoniemi.
Yeah.
Forcing Carey Price to play every night.
Yeah.
Number 3, Ben Bishop. I think he was nominated for the Vezina, and even then I'm still like, I think he's just big.
I think he's overrated.
I think if Ben Bishop was 6'1", he would be an AHL goaltender.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I think it definitely plays into it.
Number 2, Sergei Bobrovsky, and number 1, Andrei Vasilevsky. I don't think you can argue with those.
No, that's pretty good.
Vasilevsky's up there.
He was amazing.
I might even have, right now, I might have Tuukka Rask 2.
That's what I was 2 or 3.
I might have him 2 on that list.
No.
And I'm a Canadiens fan saying that I would put the Bruins goaltender that high up on the list.
I think he was instrumental in their playoff success.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I think that...
If Boston won Game 7, he's the Conn Smythe winner.
Right.
Hands down. You know?
Bob had that rough run where, especially like the thing where he got pulled and didn't come back. Like that really makes your...
Well, you know what that was? That was...
Tortorella.
Well, it was Tortorella, but
we
it
have to
was...
mention Tortorella. So.
It was, I'm leaving Columbus at the end of the season. Play me or
Screw
don't.
you.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm making my money.
I also think, for what it's worth, Carey Price is constantly a stellar goaltender.
Yeah.
Like,
if he's healthy.
if he's healthy.
Right.
I would say same with Bob for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tuukka Rask has been really fucking wishy-washy at times.
But I don't think he has. I think a lot of that is just a contingent of Bruins fans and Bruins media who have this "you're not Tim Thomas" anger about Tuukka Rask.
I think...
Realistically, that's what a lot of this is. Tuukka Rask has been one of the more consistent goaltenders in the National Hockey League for some time.
But he's prone to, like, emotional outbursts that impact his play.
I mean, so is Henrik Lundqvist. But he just
didn't
turns
make the
to
list.
Mark Stahl and goes, eh. Henrik Lundqvist is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Like, there's
It's
no
gonna be
question he's going to
awesome.
make the Hall of Fame.
He didn't make the list.
probably he's gonna get his number retired in New York.
Because he's 38 years old.
It's so dumb. He should have made that list.
He should have.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Depending on this past season, I guess if you're just looking at this past season, I don't know. He did really. He's the king. I might have some other things.
Do you want to talk about Andrew Luck really quick?
I don't know as much about it as you probably do.
So Andrew Luck, 29 years old, quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. He is on the sidelines during their preseason game on Saturday night.
First preseason game?
No, they're like 3 deep at this point.
I don't know.
And Adam Schefter, who's like one of the biggest football insiders for ESPN, tweets essentially that he's retiring. Because his body just can't hold up to injury anymore. He
Which
has
happens.
had serious shoulder problems. Just like I had a list of his injuries, and I tweeted, I was like, this looks like the greatest hits from a medical textbook. Like it's a mess to see what happened to this guy. And the reason he was like that is his general manager refused to improve his offensive line. The big meat dudes who just
block him.
block people from getting to the quarterback. Andrew Luck left a lot of money on the table. Although apparently he's going to get his $25 million from this season, even though he's not playing.
Sick. That's crazy. It's crazy.
He's
Other
just
sports,
leaving
how
it.
much people get paid.
He's just leaving it. He's saying, I'm done. I gotta go. And I a lot of people have given him a lot of grief for that.
I don't understand it personally, but
Athletes don't owe you anything.
especially if it's like injury and like the guy obviously wants to, like it's in the middle of the preseason, like he tried. Like it's not like he's like like enjoying the off season, like okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like he like was there, like tried, and like clearly he was not working.
Apparently he suffered some sort of injury in training camp, and that was kind of the last straw for him. He's like, my body just can't hold up. Now, Andrew Luck was the first overall pick the year he was drafted. The Colts won the first overall pick via lottery. They still had Peyton Manning on their team. They traded Peyton Manning to Denver because they're like, we're not going to use him. We might as well let him go do whatever. I don't know if they traded him or they just let him walk. Yeah. I think they let him walk, which was worse. They let him walk. Peyton Manning wins championships. He won a championship in Denver. Andrew Luck plays 7 seasons, retires at the age of 29.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. How old is he?
Yeah.
But I think football is also... You can't compare football and hockey.
As far as seasons go, no way.
Yeah.
Like, career seasons played, you can't compare the two.
Yeah.
If you play 7 seasons in the NFL, that might be a decent... But to retire at 29 as one of the most highly touted quarterbacks to come out of
it's a shame.
The draft is rough.
Yeah, I don't think it's any shame on him, though. I think it's just a shame. You wish you want to see the best players play.
Right. Now, I don't want to like my sport this, but could you ever see a hockey player doing this?
If it's due to injury, then they if you have to.
If it's due to injury.
The first person I think of when I think of that question is Paul Kariya. Paul Kariya, who in the Stanley Cup final against New Jersey got flattened by Scott Stevens, apparently came back and scored the game-winning goal, and he doesn't remember it because his brain, that part of his brain was damaged. Like,
it's crazy. Like,
that's insane. And he played through it, and he had so many injuries over the course of his career. Like, you got to worry about these guys as people.
No, definitely. You don't want, like, one more hit, and then he's just like, oh, okay, now my shoulder's just done.
Yeah, I think of Bugard. I think of Belak. That one season where those guys were taking their own lives. You know, I worry about those guys in a real way, like, that maybe they need to decide, okay, it's time to step back.
Yeah. And that's so rough. Like, if you're obviously, like, you're with all your guys, like, if you're put in a situation where you feel like people are relying on you, it must be so hard to step away.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention the fact that, you know, hockey has and football has the same thing, which is why there's been a lot of pushback for Andrew Luck leaving. Football has a lot of the same beliefs about standing up for your team and staying with your team and dealing with abuse in a way that is, there's no other word for it, unhealthy. Like, it's just an unhealthy obsession with putting your body on the line for these guys that are also making millions of dollars.
Right.
Like,
and like at the end of the day, I know like even as fans of a sport, it's very easy for us to get into the mindset that all of this is so important and like all of these people on these teams are symbolic of something much bigger than they are.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're just playing a game.
Right.
And you're doing all this for a game.
Yeah. No, I especially for hockey players, like hockey, the NHL recycles people like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And for a player like a grinder, like I think of Peros. Mm-hmm. Peros decided, that's it, I'm done.
Yeah.
And now he's in charge of player safety. You know, like
you can continue in the league.
Yes, if you get out in time and your brain is still in a capacity where you're able to work, which I say with a half a chuckle because it's serious. Like, these guys their brains are deteriorating. If you get out in time and you decide, I can't play anymore, but I would love to give back to the game in some capacity, the National Hockey League will always make room for you.
And we're only
You're one of the boys. What's better than this? Guys being dudes. That's them.
Who's better than us, Vinny?
Yeah, who's better than us, Vinny?
We're only just realizing how much, or I guess how little can be done to somebody and have, such long-lasting effects.
Right.
And I think this article was released in a very meaningfully timely manner by Deborah Fellows, who is the wife
I read this.
of
I read
Ron
this today.
Fellows.
It's on Deadspin. You should check it out.
Yeah, it's called My Husband is Dying Every Day. And it's this look into how Ron Fellows has debilitating Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
To the point where he is in these fits of rage constantly.
Yeah.
And it puts him in a fog. He doesn't remember that he almost hits his wife, or that he has arguments, or he went to a Raiders alumni weekend, and they were doing golf. He was only on the Raiders for 2 years, I think.
Yeah, but
he's on the Cowboys
but
longer.
like we've said, these alumni associations, they take care of you.
Right.
To as large of an extent as they can.
It was so bad that he told his wife that he was like, they played like a golf tournament or something, and he was like, I don't want to do it because I will be talking to somebody and forget what I'm saying in the middle of my sentence and I'll get embarrassed.
Yeah.
So like it got
Crazy.
to the point where like they're trying all these different medications and everything. I think it was smart of them to have this article out now.
Yeah.
In light of that news, because it's like you never know how much like the NFL is covering up so much shit with like concussions and the effects of concussions, and like they even had to fight so long just to get the league to recognize what the doctor was saying was that it was as a result of
it's rough.
head trauma.
Yeah. I think we can leave that there. It's a terrible story. I'm glad Andrew Luck has found some sort of peace in this decision. Like it can't be easy.
No, 100%.
I think he ends up back in football in some capacity. I'd love to see him on the Monday Night Football broadcast. I'd love to see him there.
Yeah.
Jason Witten was terrible on them, so to have someone in there that doesn't suck would be cool.
Yeah. Like even if you play like one NHL game, you can easily like you're at such a level of playing hockey or any sport for that matter, I'm assuming, like you can find a career in it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like being a trainer or something, like you know so much to get to that level.
Absolutely.
Like
yeah.
Like you don't have to be like a general manager if you don't want to. Like you could just physical level, you could be like a trainer or something like.
And in similar news, with the NHL, Eddie Lack just did the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Was it
retire.
concussions?
Sure.
Well,
He's
he
not-
did. He that was.
Saying he's taking a break.
I
He
thought
didn't
I mean.
formally say I'm retiring.
Yeah.
from
Really?
sport
I guess
hockey.
so.
Oh.
I thought he had used the word retire.
Did he?
Yeah, but anyway, he's the goaltending coach for Arizona State.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like even if it's not NHL, go to the freaking AHL, whatever.
Yeah.
What else do you have? I might have a thing.
Well, let's wrap on these questions from our viewers. So Dolores at DJDEEJAYDI. That's her Twitter handle. She asked about the lists, so we did that. She asked about Weber. We talked about him.
Ding.
Jesse Puljujarvi keeps popping up in the news still that he's still unhappy. He won't sign in Edmonton. He wants to go somewhere else. Do you take a flyer on a guy like that? And what do you pay to see what he's up to?
I'd do like a second and a third.
Yeah?
I don't know. I'm trying to, like, that's roughly what we paid for Adam Fox, so maybe a little bit less. But I would try. I'd try to
I'd like to see him in Montreal. A right-handed shot,
Yeah.
another Finn, playing with Kotkaniemi.
It is like obviously the injuries this early are a little concerning, but I mean, I think you still try.
The injuries that may or may not have been Edmonton's fault.
Exactly.
You know, like there's a lot. The problem with a guy like Puljujarvi is you have to wonder how much of it is him as a player and how much of it is just the Edmonton Oilers stink attached to him.
Yeah.
You know?
It would be nice to see him play for an NHL team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throwing shade.
Well, even either way, like
Yeah.
he was in the AHL. Okay. You know, they buried him there. They did such a poor job bringing him up that you have to wonder, okay, maybe there's something there.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
There's
I would
still-
pay to get him.
I don't know if I'd pay a second and a third. Probably just a third, to be honest.
Okay, fair.
That's a big
fine.
price for him.
Yeah, Edmonton's dumb. We could get less.
PK Subban and Lindsey Vaughn are getting engaged.
Good for them.
I don't really have much to say about that, to
Good
be
for
honest.
them.
I've said.
It is
I've
neat.
said.
Usually,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna just say usually like you get married this time of year, not engaged, but
Right.
It'll probably
for
be
NHL
next
players.
year,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
So that's what you do.
I was not invited to the wedding.
I
Yeah.
think that it's gonna be the most fashionable wedding
It'll
Probably.
be
that's
sick.
ever happened.
It'll be sick.
I can't wait.
Dylan Sharp at Kotkaniemi92 has a Canadians question for the group.
Okay, I love the Canadians.
Can you guys
Trevor,
speak?
Trevor's the biggest Habs fan.
noted Canadian lover, Trevor.
Can you guys speak on Kotkaniemi's potential role increase, and if you think we will see him higher in the lineup in a more offensive role? Thank you for the question, Dylan. So it's tough. I think Domi still starts the year as the number one center. I think Phil Deno still starts the season as the number two center. That still leaves Kotkaniemi as number three.
I think it's smart to do that because
Yes.
the Habs have had a pretty not ideal record of putting young players in high pressure situations. Granted, those were with different coaches.
Sure.
And different, situations or whatever.
I mean, they leaned on Kotkaniemi a lot last season, and it showed towards the end of the season. He had to take some nights off because it was the first time he played 82 games in a season.
Yeah.
To do that as an 18-year-old, to do what he did was impressive. Trevor, do you have him
played
pulled
79
up?
games.
How many? What did he have in points? 30 something?
34.
34. I don't think, and maybe I'm really out of touch here, I don't think 50 points is out of the question for him. 15 goals, 35 assists, I think that's incredibly reasonable. Because what I think is going to happen is they're going to use him in a third-line role. He's going to play against third-line players, meaning he's getting a better matchup.
Right.
And I think they're going to lean on him on the power play. Have him go out there and center your first unit.
Who would be his wingers?
At even strength?
Yeah.
Probably Lehkonen. Maybe Suzuki.
Nobody in the
That's
top
gonna be
20.
Nobody in the top 20.
The kids line.
Yeah, but Byron. Put a Byron on that line.
I can't wait to watch Byron play.
And Byron's good for 20 goals a year. You can feed him the puck.
Yeah.
The goal has to be for Kotkaniemi, maybe, at least in my mind, is take some ice time away from Phil Deneau. Not to say that Phil Deneau wasn't effective, but you probably want him to play less than he has been playing.
Even it out.
He just plays so much. He plays so much penalty killing time, that you don't want to burn him out. Phil Deneau is still incredible. I think going into a season as a 19-year-old, if you can ask for 50 points from him, you're getting great value for his entry level deal.
Definitely.
Keep working on his defensive game. Have you seen pictures of Kotkaniemi, Trevor?
Yeah, I know of what he looks like.
Well, I mean, as opposed to last year, what he looks like now that he's coming back.
I actually haven't.
Like, he's put on so much muscle. Like, I'm scared of him. Like, he's becoming a much bigger player. He was already really good at getting the puck back when it got stolen from him. He's going to be incredible at just staying on the puck if he keeps
now he's going to steal the
cultivating
puck and
mass.
your girlfriend.
I was going to say, those memes where it's like, he went from, I'll have her home by 10 to, she calls me daddy.
Yeah, he's going to be something. So, Dylan, to answer your question, I think he does have an increased role. I think they give him a longer leash on the power play. I still think he's a third line center right now, but that's not to say, that he doesn't start lighting it up and maybe flip flop with Max Domi. Maybe they move Domi to the wing and they play Suzuki down the middle. I don't know how the roster is going to shape up.
I have the same problem with the Rangers. Kravtsov could be on the top line or in the AHL.
Yeah,
it's like I don't know what the line.
That's sort of what you want, right? You don't want him to be on the fourth line.
Sure.
I
don't know. It's gonna be rough. It'll be interesting to see what the lines look like.
Yeah,
I'm so excited, but it's gonna be.
This is the sort of thing that you try to piece together during training camp. Last season they didn't really have that option because Domi got suspended. So they didn't really have Kotkaniemi had to play, or they were like, well, we might as well give him a longer look, and they did that, and it worked out.
Yeah, that's good.
Right.
As much as I'd like to tell you on paper what this team will look like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens if Kotkaniemi goes out there and he scores 6 points a night in the preseason? Well, is it just preseason, or is this who he is now?
I know. I would love to talk to a coach on how much preseason determines the lines. Do you think they go into preseason with a pretty good idea?
You're probably
I guess
looking
the
for
first
chemistry.
game you have to know.
You're looking for chemistry. You're looking for two guys to play together and click.
Yeah.
We saw that.
Make a nickname for the line.
Right. Naturally.
If the line has a nickname, you know they got things going for them.
The Canadians had the best one last year, the finish line.
Yep.
It was awesome. It was the coolest line name we've had since forever.
All the Rangers got was
ZBK.
ZBK.
In my head now, and
What?
I'm the pun
Really?
boy. I'm the one who puns.
Wow, that's bad.
Thanks for the question. I want to finish with something we did. Do you have anything else, Trevor?
Yeah.
What do you have?
Have you heard of the website Cameo?
Yes, and
Dude,
I did look on there and see which NHL players have Cameo
it's
accounts.
the best. Do you know about
And
it?
I thought about having one where they say, "Hey, I'm insert player,
Yeah.
and you're listening to the Nosebleeds podcast.
The Rangers podcast I listened to did it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you pay someone to make a video for you, and it's like
Yes.
pretty reasonable.
Yeah, depending on the player.
Sure, like
I saw Jeremy Roenick was on there.
Jeremy Roenick is $200. So like I'm assuming you get like a minute long video or so. Mark Messier's $300. That's the Rangers podcast got him. Like Ryan Reeves is only $100.
So on the
Right
Rangers
off his
on the
tax
Rangers
expense.
podcast, what did they have him say?
I'm just like, hey guys, it's Mark Messier. Like something. You're listening to the best Rangers podcast. Like I should know it because I listen to the podcast all the time. But it's like a short message they play at the beginning of the podcast.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But they also have the video, and it's like a video of him like in a rink somewhere. But like I love just going to and looking at players like Ryan Reeves, John Scott has one, Dennis
How much
Savard.
How much
John
does John
Scott's-
Scott cost?
John Scott, you want to guess? Ryan Reeves was $100.
John Scott's
Oh.
is probably like $60.
No, I'm saying it's like $150.
John Scott's also $100.
Yeah, John Scott is a more. I mean, he's a name.
Recognizable.
Martin Brodeurs $300.
I'm just
You can
wondering.
get
Do
Evgeny
we-
Kuznetsov.
Do we pay for one of these?
I'm trying to think who would work at best.
John Scott.
We have to
It
find,
has
like,
be John Scott.
Peter Budaj, Brooks Like.
I love. How much does Peter Budaj cost?
Peter Budaj's Peter Budaj.
It was $8.
$20 is so reasonable
could
for
do
Peter
it.
Budaj.
He could bless our podcast.
Jason Demers is only 10 if you want to go halfies. Charlie Coyle's 40.
He's a Bruin. That doesn't count.
Pavel Barber is 50. Like that's crazy.
Not a
I
hockey player.
think it's,
No, but still, it's Pavel
I
Barber.
think it's fucking absurd that these
get
millionaires are charging.
Jamal Mayers.
Philip Zadina.
Philip
is 30.
Zadina. Oh, we have to get Philip Zadina to say he's not as good as Scott Kaniemi.
Kadri's on here for $200. Zach Boychuk will unfollow you on Twitter for $50. Oh, I'm just kidding. They have like Grant Fuhr's only 75.
Ryan
Like,
Suzuki.
it's hilarious. Jordan Subban for 100. Like they have, it's amazing. Ryan Johansson for 75. Those are like most of the main.
All right, we might
NHLers.
have to consider this for our intro.
But it's just hilarious how cheap it is. Like I think it's very.
We might have to
reasonable.
consider this. Yeah, absolutely.
You can watch someone like you can go to the website, look up these people, and watch some of their videos, and it's really funny them just talking about like, hey, like wishing you like the happiest birthday or something.
Oh my god.
I first saw it from Dylan Playfair. He's one of the hockey players on Letterkenny.
He has one?
Yep,
That's pretty
a
fun.
couple of the Letterkenny guys do. And there's a bunch of
can we get a
actors, different
Swirly
athletes.
Dan one?
I didn't see him.
Oh.
You're listening to the Nosebleeds podcast.
It was just really funny. Like I was looking up different actors and stuff. Like I couldn't find like one I looked up randomly was Tom Cruise, and he's not on there. But there's someone like there's not Tom Cruise who just does an impersonation of him. It's just a really funny website if you want to go and look up different
Do
people.
you think we could get one of them to do like a vocal version of our musical intro where there's
No.
like da 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 da
No,
da?
there's
I feel like that'd be a
no
waste of
chance.
money.
Yeah, that would be an incredible waste of $300 because we're getting Marty Brodeur to do it. With this, because I checked a while ago and the list wasn't as long as that. There
getting
wasn't
better.
as many. There more and more people are joining it, so we might have to
remember
just
there was
hold out
one-
until we have one where we can't say no to.
Right?
There's a video of is it
John
Madison?
Tortorella?
It's Madison something. She's a YouTuber. She's the one from the South.
Yeah, yeah.
And she did a bunch of those, and she did one with another YouTuber, Cody Co. She
Oh,
bought
yeah,
it
and
for,
he
like,
did a shit one.
$100.
Yeah,
And he just like recorded himself just like staring.
He
for,
was like, "Hey."
for like 10 seconds, and then just shuts it off, and she was like,
he gave her a refund.
yeah.
But
I want Marty Brodeur to be like, hey guys, it's St. Louis Blues legend Marty Brodeur.
no, hey, it's future Montreal Canadiens general manager Marty Brodeur.
True.
Oh my god.
I wonder like what they will and won't say. I feel like they'd be a lot more.
Yeah.
lenient. Like it would be pretty funny.
Um,
I don't know how much you can tell them though. I don't know if you send them a whole script or if it's just like, hey, can you?
Oh,
wish
I think you
John
send them a
happy
script and
birthday?
they can agree to it or not.
Yeah.
Sure. Maybe you can negotiate.
I'm pretty sure Chris D'Elia's on there and his cost $10,000.
What?
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to do it for anything you guys have listed. So Cameo made it so he's the only one that like costs that much money.
Oh my god.
He's just
How do
a
you spell
dick.
Delia?
D
Is
apostrophe.
it Chris? Normal Chris?
Yeah.
Okay. D-E.
It was.
Chris Hansen's on here. I was looking up Chris Hansen
I'm
too.
I'm Chris
What are you
Hansen from.
doing?
Yeah. Why don't you
It's
take a seat and
$50.
listen to the Nosebleeds podcast?
It's really funny.
We're going long here.
You have to go to the website, look at who they have.
Oh
It's
my god,
hilarious.
I need it.
Maybe we'll leave it up to if we can narrow it down to a few.
We need like 50 or under. Like we can't be spending that much.
Yeah.
Affordable
And we'll
ones.
leave it
Yeah.
up to you guys, and then we'll get them to record a greeting.
Yeah.
Let's end on something that we did last episode that I really enjoyed. Let's talk about some more Major League Eating records.
Oh Jesus.
Oh no.
Let me just fix this quick.
Is it butter? Okay.
That was so.
Make me guess butter.
That was so bad.
5,700 sticks of butter.
Spam.
What's the unit?
Richard the Locust Lefebvre ate 6 pounds of Spam from the can. How long did it take him to eat 6 pounds of Spam?
I love how it says the can, like it's just one giant can.
The can.
6 pounds of Spam. That I feel like it's greasy, slippery.
You can warm it up in your hands,
True.
and then it's like liquid. I would say a half hour. No, are you kidding me?
You're running out of battery.
Oh,
Or
really?
memory. Or something. I don't know. It said something.
Yeah, it's probably memory. So this is gonna end after this bit.
That's fine. 6 pounds of Spam. I'm going like 12 minutes.
12 minutes on the nose.
Wow.
Power move.
This one's one that I think I could win. Chicken nuggets. How many chicken nuggets did Sonia Thomas eat in 5 minutes?
I feel like you have to chew a lot for chicken nuggets.
Chicken
though.
nuggets.
No,
How
but
many
the
nuggets?
outside's like dry.
You have
5 minutes.
5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
32.
I was gonna go 37.
80. 80 nuggets.
This is my problem with this.
5 minutes.
It's always a fucking number you wouldn't expect.
Let's see.
Hold on. I gotta do the math here. So that's 300 seconds. So we're talking a chicken nugget every 3.75 seconds. I feel like that's reasonable.
Yeah, okay. Joey Chestnut set the record for the most grilled cheese sandwiches eaten in 10 minutes. How many grilled cheese sandwiches was it?
62.
How were they cooked though? Wait, how many minutes?
Grilled cheese. And you just fucking asked me how do they cook them?
Well, you can microwave a grilled cheese.
Trevor.
How many? How many?
That's the
minutes?
saddest way to end this podcast. Cue the outro music.
How many minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. We'll go like 12 grilled cheeses.
47.
47.
I said 62.
Yeah.
So I lose.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of grilled cheeses.
All right,
Maybe
one
they
more.
shrink during the grilling process though, or if you microwave them, they.
One more, and then we gotta go because that thing's gonna beep again in a little bit, I would imagine. Unless, did it beep and say full last time? Or that?
Yeah.
So it's already done.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. It's been a minute.
I'm never coming back to this podcast.
Grapes.
That's dangerous.
Grapes?
Cookie Jarvis set the record for the most grapes eaten in 10 minutes.
Dude, that's gonna be a lot of grapes.
How many
like,
grapes?
10 minutes. We're saying, okay.
It is in pounds with
Pounds.
some ounces.
How much do grapes weigh?
It's a good question.
Grapes are really light.
No, I'm doing like easily like 10 minutes, dude. Easily like 3. I'm gonna go like 3.6 pounds, whatever. I don't know how many ounces are in a pound. 60. Okay, 3 point.
Don't do point. Tell me how many ounces.
I don't get cheapsy.
How many ounces?
3 pounds. It's 10 ounces.
Okay, so just over 3.5 pounds.
I'm going
math guy.
5 pounds, 3 ounces.
You are both wrong. It is 8 pounds, 15 ounces, essentially 9 pounds of grapes. And that
9 pounds of grapes?
That is where we end this episode of the Nosebleeds Podcast. This is episode 44. A RabidHabs podcast, along with Montreal Bias, whenever they decide.
I miss
It's
hockey.
time.
Leave them alone.
I won't.
Leave our boys alone.
Nope.
There are
pod
fathers.
hazed.
There are podcasts.
You can go to RabidHabs.com to read old articles that don't matter anymore because I haven't written anything in a long time. Get off my back.
There's not a lot
Okay,
to talk
ow,
about.
you're hurting me. Ow.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know. You can follow me on Twitter at BoisvertIan, BoisVert Ian. You can follow the podcast at Nosebleedscast, at RabidHabs for articles and other podcasts and general Habs memes.
You can follow me on Twitter at GoldPersonal. For $100, I'll make a happy birthday message.
You could follow me at letterbombs, letter_bombs for $2 and maybe like a smiley face emoticon. I'll say whatever the fuck you want me to say.
I'll leave you with a parting question. Should we start a TikTok? Podcast TikTok.
I don't know. I was anti TikTok at first, but now I'm okay with it.
Trevor's now in charge of the podcast TikTok. Thanks,
Pod
everybody.
talk.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.